Hey everyone, it's Michael here with GoodyReader.com, and today I'm going to give you an app review of Texture, formerly known as Next Issue. If you live in Canada or the US, you've probably seen their commercials on TV. They hype themselves as an unlimited magazine subscription service. So this is a company that competes against Press Reader, Zinio, Magster, and other companies. So what separates Texture from everyone else? Well, what I really like about it is a new feature that they've added to their iOS and Android app, and of course we are looking at the iPad here, is that they have new and noteworthy stories. So what they do is they take feature articles out of magazines and curate for you. So maybe instead of downloading and reading a magazine, maybe you just want to read the cover story or just a random good article within it. So you kind of have the default articles that are here at the top on the main screen. However, if you go to the category screen, you see that there is a revolving carousel here of topics. So let's just say science and tech. Now, the stories and change here at the top to be more indicative of science and tech stories. You can also see collections. So, articles on close encounters of a dark and mysterious kind. So, Next Issue, which is now called Texture, what they do have here is something that is kind of unique. They have two subscription tiers, one for about $9.99 a month and one for about $12.99 a month. Now, those are the Canadian subscription rates, and may be different in the US. I don't know. Anyways, with the base level subscription, you get all the monthly magazines, whereas with the higher tier subscription, you get all the weekly magazines, so Entertainment Weekly, things like that. There is a wide array of magazines here that are available. So I'm a huge Wired fan. So let's click on here. Now, the magazine is in the process of downloading. So much like a lot of comic book or manga apps, you can actually start reading as you're downloading it. But as you can see, there is some resolution issues before the magazine starts looking really sexy. But as you can see, I have my iPad Air 2 here, and some of the images and colors looks totally amazing. In real life, I mean, this picture is vibrant, it's colorful, it's multi-layered, it looks really good. Hopefully it's coming across that on your YouTube channels. So if you don't want to read a magazine while it's downloading, you can see here the download status. Now, Texture does not support multi-downloading, so I can't just click on 3 or 4 of these magazines at once and start simultaneously downloading them all. So start downloading, 4 different magazines, walk away for about 5 minutes while they all complete. It's one download after another, and there's no queue system, so you can't click on Shutterbug and that will immediately start downloading. You can see as soon as I clicked on it, it stopped the downloading of Wired. So that is one of my little gripes here. But really, this is a solid service. It doesn't have the international selection of content that a Press Reader or a Magster has, and sometimes those companies have been accused of having too much international content, like having fashion magazines from Singapore, the Philippines, and France, but not having it from the UK or the US, where those audiences would want to look at fashion from their own country. Whereas I found that Next Issue does appeal to people who live in Canada or the US, because the same magazines that you would have at your drugstore or small magazine shop, this is really what you're finding here. You're not finding obscure stuff. You're finding the type of stuff that when you're at the grocery market and you look at the magazine stand, they have that here. So you can see they have Bloomberg, Car and Driver, Consumer Reports, You know, they have magazines here I've never heard of before, but, you know, Entertainment Weekly. There's a lot of magazines here that I think is certainly worth the $9.99 that you would spend a month. And just so you know, you could read as many magazines as you want. You're not limited to a certain amount per month. You could read everything here as you go, which I find is really kind of cool. Finally, as you're reading a magazine, some of them have like an up and down type of scrolling method. So you could read it as if you would like a news feed. And then that same magazine could be scrolled from left to right. So you have different ways that you could scroll through a magazine, which I find is pretty cool. Also, when you're reading an article, let's just find one here. All right, so we found something here, but of course this magazine is downloading now. This text is kind of small, but you can pinch and zoom to read it. Now keep in mind when you're zoomed, you can't really, when you turn a page, your zoom level is lost. So you don't really have it after you initially found your ideal zoom area. But that's cool because a lot of the text in magazines looks good. So this has been an app review of Texture, formerly Next Issue for GoodieReader.com. My name is Michael, and everybody take care.